If you're here for the first time, welcome. Good decision to get on this video of all videos. If you're returning, thank you for coming back. As you guys come on to this live stream, just let me know if you're able to hear everything. I'm just checking to make sure that you guys, I can see you guys in the comments. So just let me know if you can hear everything. I've got a pretty important one to talk about today. Probably not something that you want to hear, but I think that definitely if you want to be long-term in this space, it's definitely something that we should start planning on and really concentrate on. Yes, I can see some of you coming in now. That's awesome. Good to see you all. Thank you for joining me. So it's getting to that time in the market where things are starting to go just a little bit crazy. We're seeing YouTube thumbnails. Every second thumbnail is saying the next 100 to 1000x coin, guaranteed in the next 2 days. People are FOMOing in, looking just for low market cap gems that may possibly 100 or 500x without even knowing what they do. And it's getting to the point where a potential 2x on Bitcoin is no longer enough by the end of December. That all of a sudden is not enough. So it's this time in the market where millionaires can be made, but also a lot of people can lose a lot of money. Nothing will really drive your emotions more than being in the later stages of a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency bull market. And so if this is your first year in cryptocurrency, if this is your first bull market, then you should consider this your apprenticeship. And if at the end of this period in time you have made some money, well, congratulations, you did it the right way. If you end up losing a lot of money as a result of this bull run, then that's the lesson that will either make or break you. So if you return after that happens, then you have a much better chance of making it big in the next bull run. If you give up from here, then you miss out on a big opportunity just because you didn't take the time to learn the important lessons first before throwing money into the market. So at this point in time, whilst there are a lot of people making a lot of money from the bull market, there are also a lot of people losing money. And I just want to take a look at something. I want to show you a couple of examples. So let's have a look here at this coin here called Squid Games. Now, this coin started to have a huge run up, and then you can see here it spiked all the way up from 0.1 all the way up to 3,200, and then just had a huge massive sell-off. Now before this happened, it was actually reported in the news, all over the news, that people were having trouble getting their money out of this. And whilst all of this stuff was being reported, and you can see here, those who have bought the coin are unable to cash out according to reports. It means investors can't convert the cryptocurrency into real cash. Whilst all of this was coming out, people were still buying. And this is what shows you that this is the time in the market where what they coin as dumb money comes in. People are just chasing gains without really doing any research. Even on CoinMarketCap here, it says that there are multiple reports that this coin, the website and socials are no longer functioning and users cannot sell their token. It's literally telling you here on CoinMarketCap. But when you go in and have a look at this closer, let's have a look at, if you can see that right there, can you see that? That is the amount of volume that came in on this coin. I'm going to stretch that out so we can get in. After it's had that huge dump back to where it started, look at all of that buying volume that is coming in now. Now, there are reports on this that you cannot cash out. People already bought here and lost all their money in one candle huge dump, and people are buying back in. what is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with these people? Like, is your head feeling okay? Do you need a Panadol? Like, this is preposterous. It's crazy. And this is where people get wrecked. And it's this part of the market where some real damage can be done. In addition to that, let's have a look at SHIB, another one. So SHIB is currently down 40%. Now, SHIB I wouldn't put in the same basket as Squid Games, but, you know, had a huge run up, is currently having a massive sell-off, does have a lot of beliefs in it. It may last, it may not. But if you're asking yourself, why is this having a big sell-off right now? Well, having a look at this would be the reason why. So this tweet from DevChart says, remember when everyone was wondering if the guy who turned 8K into 5 billion actually lost access to his wallet? Because that was something that was going around. Turns out he didn't, and he's just started selling. So what's going to happen when one person owns $5 billion worth of a token, starts selling? Like, what's going to happen to your portion of that, you know? So you really have to start thinking carefully about what you're putting your money into, and instead of just chasing gains, like, really think about, are you putting your money into good projects? Do you have an exit plan? Or do you have any plan at all? Moving on, next thing, we start to see some crazy news that people just think are going to send Bitcoin to 400K. So this here, we had Commonwealth Bank to trade cryptocurrency in Australia. And all of a sudden people went crazy thinking, oh, that's going to make Bitcoin so bullish and blah, blah, blah. Do you not realize that Australia adds no volume to the cryptocurrency market? We are so tiny in comparison. Sure, this is great for more widespread adoption potentially. But at the end of the day, crypto was created to have our way of holding on to our own wealth independent of banks. Like, thank you, Commonwealth Bank, but I'll keep a hold of my own wallet. Thank you very much. This is not amazing news that is going to send Bitcoin to $400,000. Saying here, Commonwealth Bank will be the first major bank to offer customers the ability to buy, sell, and hold crypto directly through its app. No, thank you. I don't even trust you to hold my money. Why would I trust you to hold my crypto? You know, so these aren't the things. This is where the hype comes in, that is designed for the last phase of the market cycle, to bring retail in, to drive prices right up to what is known as a blow off top before the bear market starts. So let's have a look at it. So this is what I'm talking about right now. This is the emotions of a market cycle, and this is the area that I think we're in right now, where we've got between optimism and belief, where it's now retailers coming in that are being like, oh my god, this thing is real, right? Like, you're seeing, oh, if Commonwealth are gonna hold my crypto, then it must be real, right? Like, and then the belief comes in, and because the trust is in those things, and this is what leads to this big peak here. And this is what you call the blow off top, where there is just so much thrill, everyone's just buying anything. There's, like, you know, YouTube is full of 100x gems in a week, and you just buy, you just can't stop buying. You've made some money and you're just putting it all back in, and then all of a sudden in a day, bang, we drop out. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. The bull market in cryptocurrency never ends with consolidation. It always ends with a bang. So do you want to be part of that bang, or do you want to have a better plan to capitalize on as much of the good work that you've done throughout this bull market to hold on to as much profit as possible? That is certainly my plan, and that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. So now let's have a look at what's the belief out there. So there's two narratives. There's the old school cryptocurrency traders that believe that the market cycles are 4 years and it's going to, the bull run always ends on, around the 4-year date, which should be around December of this year. And then there's the other side who believe that, well, this time is different and that we will now have a lengthening cycle because all this institutional money has come in and it's just going to be different now because we're playing a different game because, there's just more money in the market. So we're going to explore that. And what else do I want to show you here? So here, Plan B is one of those. So Plan B has, it's a very famous tweet now making some predictions on what he believes Bitcoin will go to by the end of the year. And you know what? All of that lines up with both theories, either with a lengthening cycle or with a cycle that is supposed to end in December. What this doesn't tell us is what happens after December, right? So sure, if you're following this, if you believe in this, or you believe that there's going to be a bull market till December at a minimum, then that's fine. But does that mean you have a plan to get out then? And what happens if it continues, right? So that's what I wanted to talk about today. If you are new here, once again, welcome. If you're returning, thank you for coming back. Before we fully get into it, please don't forget to smash up the like button. If you do that whilst we are actually live, this video then goes out to more people. And I think that especially this video of all video is a really important message for anyone in the trading game to know around this time as the market starts to go a bit wild. And, there's a lot of craziness out there on the internet. So talking about, when the bull market is going to end, whether the cycle should end in December or will we have an extended cycle, it's impossible to know who's actually going to be right. But I wanted to get into a little bit of data today and also give you a bit of my short-term view on Bitcoin as well as my long-term view, and also how I plan to play the rest of this market. So before I get into that, I just wanted to do a quick reminder about the crypto case competition that I've got going on at the moment. The first link in the description of this video explains all of the competition rules. During the July period, when everybody thought that Bitcoin was going to continue down, I invested $1,000 into 10 coins, so $100 each, to give away to this community. So all I need is for you guys to help me get to 5,000 subscribers. We're not too far away. Once we get there, these coins get given away. So there will be 5 winners. Each winner will receive 2 coins chosen at random. This portfolio started at $1,000. It is currently sitting at about $2,700 in total value. So there's definitely some pretty good free money there that anyone can win. And all you have to do is just like, subscribe, and click on that first link to the video. Don't do it now. Do it after this video and make sure you get yourself in the draw to win that. So let's, what are we going to look at first? Okay, so before we look at anything, let's talk about one thing that I think is important short term. So yesterday there was the Fed Reserve meeting, the FOMC meeting, and we were kind of waiting to see what came out of that because sometimes the news can cause a movement in the crypto market and sometimes it doesn't affect it. I actually think what came out of that meeting was really good news for cryptocurrency. So the main thing is that they have agreed to start tapering $15 billion per month. So currently we're sitting at $120 billion that they print every month to project into the market as a stimulus. And they have agreed to start tapering off at around $15 billion per month. Now, November and December has been locked in for that to happen, with a further possibility for it to continue to happen until around mid next year. They also did not announce any changes in interest rates. So what does this mean? It means that the likelihood of inflation continuing is higher. Now, when that happens, people continue to use Bitcoin as a store of value or continue to invest in the crypto space as basically a hedge. So that's what makes it very good for Bitcoin, at least until mid next year. Looking at Bitcoin short term, I just want to share a chart with you. Yep. So we currently are just ranging with Bitcoin. This wick here that I've got pointed out there, that was the short-term news from the stuff that came out. So there was a short-term pullback pretty much in the whole market overall, and then we just shot back up to normal. So the news coming out hasn't had a negative or a positive effect immediately on the market, which is a good thing because we don't really want anything too drastic. But it looks like Bitcoin is still ranging until it gets out of that 60K to 64K level. You know, we really can't pick the direction right now, but thinking long term, it's pretty good for cryptocurrency overall. Now, what else did I want to say about that? Okay, so let's have a look at some on-chain data that I think is really important. So this is the futures perpetual funding rate. Now, the reason that I think this is important right now is because when the funding rate increases, as you can see here, and also here, that's what usually leads to a liquidation hunt, or, you know, a big pullback in the market, dramatic pullback. And so you can see this one happened on October 20, and if we go back to the charts here at October 20 was this sell-off here. So that was the last time that the funding rates were rising and got to a significantly high level. The same thing happened yesterday, which led to this sell-off, which just happened to be timed at the same sort of timing as the news came out. So the reason I wanted to point that out is because I think right now the danger that we have in Bitcoin, looking at a short-term, you know, trader perspective, is that when Bitcoin trends sideways, as it is right here, but the funding rate increases, that's when we open ourselves up to a higher chance of flushing the leverage out of the market and a fairly decent pullback. So we did have this rising yesterday. We did have that sell-off, which could have flushed out a lot of that leverage. What we need to watch for now is if that leverage is going to start increasing again after that washout, and if Bitcoin continues to range sideways at that time, that's when I would exercise caution. So I think that is a really important thing to know right now. And I would say to everyone who's leverage trading right now, just be a little bit cautious with your leverage trades especially. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you with that was the current estimated leverage ratio, and we are really getting up there. We're now at 0.19. When you look back at this period in time here, when Bitcoin had its big sell-off in April, the leverage ratio was 0.18. So we are really getting up there, and again, that adds to my suspicion that some sort of big sell-off, it doesn't necessarily need to be big, but leverage is going to get flushed out. So a pullback is kind of expected, and I just would be really cautious right now. Now, something that I found so super interesting yesterday from the Glassnode report that came out, I'm going to have to just move myself so you can see this. Okay, so this chart here, what it's showing us is the percent futures open interest crypto margin on all exchanges. Now, in English, what that means is this orange line is showing us the increase or decrease in people who are opening leverage positions that are crypto margined, meaning they're using a volatile asset, so Bitcoin in this case, to take a leverage trade. Now, as you would know, that when you trade leverage, you have the option on some exchanges to trade that with using Bitcoin as the collateral, or you also have the option of using USDT as the collateral. So the reason that this is so important is because this orange line is showing a huge decline in people choosing to use Bitcoin as the collateral. Now, why would that matter? Well, I'm going to show you in comparison the USDT, or well, it's called cash margined, which is either a stable coin or actual, fiat money. The difference is completely opposite. So when you look at this, that is a huge increase in people instead using a stable coin to take out Bitcoin futures trades and speculate on the price of Bitcoin. Why would people do that? Why would traders do that? Now, this is the most important part. The reason that people do that is because when you take out a leverage position using a volatile asset, it's a double risk, because if the trade goes the wrong way, you lose that portion of, in this example, Bitcoin, right? So you lose that portion. And then B, the price of the asset has actually declined as well. So it's a double loss. So sure, if the trade goes your way and you win, it's a double win, but it's also a double loss if it goes the other way. So when you see such a huge rise in people choosing to use USDT as their collateral instead of Bitcoin, that's telling you that people are unsure how much further Bitcoin will go, or traders are unsure how much further Bitcoin will go, and they want to protect as much of that capital as they possibly can. At the end of the day, they can close positions and just buy Bitcoin if Bitcoin is still looking healthy. But at this point in time, it's showing you that professional traders don't want to take the risk. That's a really important thing to know at this point in time. So that factors into your short-term decisions, because they obviously believe that Bitcoin is probably going to get volatile at these levels, and that's why they don't want to risk their Bitcoin. And B, it also gives you a bit of an idea on long-term future of Bitcoin being, further than the end of the year, that most traders aren't trusting that the bull market is, going to last for too much longer. Now, one other thing before I get into the actual exit strategy and what I think all of this means, I will tie it together, that I wanted to show you was just this little chart here. So let me just move myself. So one other thing that I just found really interesting, I've been tracking this for a while. It's not a technical thing, but I just wanted to point it out. I have noticed that something always happens on the 17th of December. And you can go back and chart that on Bitcoin, but something always happens on the 17th of December. So I'm going to go back a few years to give you an example. Let's go back to here. So let's look at 2017. The 17th of December was the blow off top. It was the very top of the 2017 bull market. When you move into 2018, and if I stretch that out, it was the start of the change in trend. So we went from a bear market and we changed trend to a bull market. When we go to the next year, 2019, same thing. We had a bear market, we changed short term to a bull market. Obviously, this was the year that the pandemic kind of took us out, but who knows if that would have, just continued on if that didn't happen. So 17th of December, again, in 2019 was the change in trend. Now we go to 2020, and in 2020, the 17th of December was the day that we broke above 20K, which we hadn't ever been able to break above since the last time we were there. So it was on that date, something major happens in Bitcoin, and so that's something that I want to be aware of. What do we think is going to happen this December 17? Will it break that curse, or, you know, will something happen? Now, if you think about it, it's been a change in trend most of those years. Well, currently the trend is up. So what does that mean? You know, we don't know. That's just a date-based thing. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But here's the thing. So now that you have all of that data, I'm going to talk to you about what I'm going to personally do. And I think what the point that I really want to get across to you is that this is my plan because it suits my personal situation. And this by no means is me telling you that you should do what I do. And yeah, you have to make up your own mind. And if you decide to follow, then you have to own your decisions. So here's what I think. And a lot of it is kind of going with gut and also going with data. So for me personally, the last year and a half or two has created life-changing wealth for me, to a point where I don't want to continue to risk it in the hope that we have a lengthening cycle. I do think that whether the bull market ends in December or we just have a nasty pullback, then a further 6-month continuation, I do think that December of this year is going to be a testing time where I personally want to be more in cash than in crypto, even if that's just for the short term. So here's how I plan to play this. I've always said that once Bitcoin breaks and holds above the last all-time high of 65,000, around 65,000, my goal from that point is to start scaling out of Bitcoin only. And the reason that I say that is because I know this path to alt season very well. So we know that money shifts during the bull run from Bitcoin to Ethereum to large caps to alt season is usually the last portion of it. So once Bitcoin breaks 65,000 and holds above there, I'm going to slowly start scaling out at every new high that is created just from my Bitcoin. I'm going to continue to let everything else in my portfolio run. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I'm very heavy in layer ones and in gaming tokens. That's where it's at for me. So am I going to hold on to anything beyond 2000 or beyond December? Tricky question. I'm going to answer that in full. So basically with Bitcoin, I'm going to start scaling out once we hold above 65K, a small percentage, somewhere between, 5 and 10%, depending on how big the moves are, on the way up, with the goal to be about 80% out of Bitcoin by December. Now, what you have to understand is that if Bitcoin then continues to go to 400K, me being 80% out in December is still life-changing money, and so I don't care. And that other 20% that is left is going to be an amazing return if Bitcoin keeps going. So that's how I've made that decision. Now, here's a good one, especially going to be Christmas time to celebrate. Exactly, right? So that's my plan for Bitcoin. Now, Ethereum tends to run a little bit longer, and my holdings in Ethereum are bigger than my holdings in Bitcoin. So with Ethereum, I'm going to wait a little bit longer before I start scaling out of Ethereum, but I'm going to do that as well once I start to feel that last blow off top in Bitcoin is coming. And that's just to give Ethereum a little bit longer to do what it's got to do. But I will still start towards that blow off top. Now, my theory is I would rather choose when I exit the market than have the market exit me. We know that when that blow off top comes, that huge drop afterwards is very dramatic. If you've been around this year from around May when we saw Bitcoin go from 60 down to 30. We were very lucky that we only had to experience that for 2 months. That was a preview to what a blow off top is going to feel like, right? So if you watched your portfolio go from whatever its value was at 60K to basically half of that when Bitcoin dropped to 30K, it hurt if you didn't take profits, right? It hurt. We were lucky enough to be able to get through that in only 2 months' time and be back here where we are now. Now, if Bitcoin does go to 135, like Plan B is saying, or anything over 100K, and that drop takes us back to 50, that is too much to give back to the market for me personally to wait for the blow off top to happen, then get out. I don't want to be getting out of the market on a falling knife. I want to be getting out on my terms. And that is why I plan to slowly sell out on the way up rather than waiting for a reversal or waiting for some sign of a change in trend. Because let me tell you, even when that change in trend comes, for the most part, you'll convince yourself that it's just a pullback, right? Because the euphoria has kicked in. You think, oh, if we're at 130, we're going to 200, and it's a whole different mindset. So save yourself from that and instead get out on your terms rather than the market taking you out. So that's my plan for Bitcoin. For Ethereum, gonna wait till I feel that blow off top is coming and then start scaling out of that too. Again, leaving a little, I'll explain exactly what I'm leaving in the market. From there, I'm then going to start scaling out of my altcoins. Now let's talk about gaming. There is a lot of word out there that says that gaming will survive a bear market, and it's somewhat decoupled from Bitcoin, who basically rules the market, because of the whole play to earn thing and the fact that people can earn a living using that crypto. So there's a lot of speculation that the gaming coins will be unaffected by a bear market. For me personally, I can't take that risk. Again, because I'm taking it with life-changing money. It's not worth it to me. What I know as a trader is that in a bear market, Bitcoin from its all-time high usually pulls back about 85% over a couple of year period. Altcoins usually pull back about 95%. Do I want to hold on to something whilst it loses 95% of its value? Or do I want to lock in as much as I can, let the drop happen, and then get back in when it's back down at 95%, if I think that thing is, still got legs in it and the bull market is about to return again? For me, it's the latter. I don't want to sit through something that is going to drop 95%. I can do something in the real world with that money whilst that plays out and then come back, right? So for me personally, I'm not holding on to things whilst they, basically go back to where they started. So for me, my rule with my gaming portfolio is it depends on the coin, but when they somewhere between 5 to 10x, if it's really good, might hold on a little bit longer. But when they reach that 5 to 10x, I'm taking profits on those. So I'm not planning to hold any of them long term. So 5 to 10x for me is my exit. I'm happy to take those profits and then shift them into layer ones, which I more strongly believe in, for as long as we continue. Now, his life was tailored for me. Okay, so that's how I feel about the gaming portfolio. Now, the other portfolio that is my layer one, so including Bitcoin, so Bitcoin, Ethereum, the only things that I will hang on to partially is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and DOT. That's what it is for me. Those things have done me so well. I was in at such a low price that even if they shot up and retraced 95%, the chances of them coming back to where I got in are very, very small. However, some of these things have 700, 800, 900x for me. So I will not hold on to the whole portion and watch all of those profits die away for 2 years waiting for it to come back. That's not what I'm going to do. once I start to scale out of Ethereum, I'm then going to start scaling out of my layer ones until I'm left with about potentially 10% of whatever their value is at the time that I'm up to the last bit. I'm happy to keep through a bear market for my trading portfolio 10% of my profits in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and DOT. The reason that I'm happy to keep those is because I'll just throw them on interest earning platforms, and throughout the bear market, they can sit there and earn interest. It's money I'm not going to need for anything because I've cashed out everything else back into a stable coin. And then my plan from there is to almost build again. And this might be the crazy part that some people are like, is there something wrong with you? But I'm excited to rebuild in a bear market. I am so excited to rebuild in a bear market. So for me, once I have sold everything out to stablecoin, I'm moving about probably 99% of that to interest earning platforms, and I'm just going to earn interest on my stablecoin. My goal in life has always been to get to a point where I can live off interest, because interest is the only truly passive form of income. So therefore, I'll get to realize that dream. So why wouldn't I do it? You know, some of these places can pay, 10, 20% in interest APY on stable coins. So why wouldn't I do that? And I'm going to start again with a very small amount of USDT just to trade the bear market and continue to build that up and accumulate it over and over and over, and literally have an alert on the 85% drop in Bitcoin as my alert to know to start averaging back in. So that's my plan. Let me just quickly see if there's anything else I wanted to tell you. I think I've covered it all. Okay, yes. So the only other thing I wanted to tell you is this is my current plan. Now, it's really important to know that my decisions are dictated by what the market tells me. So if we get close to December and we've just crept up through December and it's not looking like a blow off top and things aren't crazy and outrageous and I'm feeling like, you know what, this might be lengthening, my decisions may change. Just because you have a plan now, and this goes for you guys too, just because you make a plan now doesn't mean that you should ignore the signs that might come between now and the date that you've chosen, because the market dictates our decisions. We shouldn't get emotional about it. So whilst I have this feeling now that I think around December 17 is the scary time in the market and I want to be more in cash, over the next 4 to 6 weeks, that might change if the market is changing or looking healthy or whatever, especially, when you look at most of the market cycle tops, the weekly RSI has been around 90. That's another very easy indicator that you can use to sort of gauge whether we are heading towards the top of this one as well. So you will need to reassess all of those things at the time. And I'm telling you that I'm not married to this decision. It's the decision that I've made for now because I think it is a responsible one and because I want to get out on my terms. If it changes, it changes. So you need to make that decision for yourself, but I would highly recommend that you sit down and do the same things. The key things that you should take away is understanding the 85% correction, 95% correction for altcoins, and can you afford to sit through that for 2 years, potentially 2 years, waiting for the next bull market to start? Or do you want to move to stablecoin, protect what you've done so far, and then let that drop play out and get back in? You'll be that much smarter now. When it gets close to bull market coming again, you'll be that much smarter. So, and the best way to do it is scale in as well. You don't try to pick one price. So you scale out of the market on the way up, and you scale back in when you feel that we are potentially somewhere towards the bottom. It's going to be impossible to pick the price. So I'm just going to quickly have a look at some of your comments here to see if there's anything I've missed. But that's what I would take away, or that's what I would do if I were you guys. I would really have a sit down, think about what are the things that you would be happy to hold on to for multiple years, knowing now that we have the option to earn interest on those things. You know, so you can do that through a bear market, but it is money that you don't want to, you believe that you won't have to sell throughout a bear market. You don't want to be doing that. Only hold on to volatile assets that you know you're not going to need for the next 2 years. And then, yeah, just trade. If you're a trader, trade the bear market, USDT, accumulate, wait it out. You know, once you feel the potential bottom is in, then start scaling back in slowly over time. And again, start with the majors, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, let me just quickly go through these and see if there's anything that I have missed. Will some of the sell-off money end up in sell-off? Yes, very good question, actually. So once I start scaling out of Bitcoin, if I feel that the alts are still rallying and I sort of want to supercharge into that, I might. But to be honest with you, I'm fully positioned already and I'm happy to not buy anything else for the rest of the bull market. I really am. I've got everything that I dreamed of having in my portfolio and I'm very, very happy with my position. I don't need to make another purchase from here till the end and I'll be fine. I personally don't want to gamble that either. So I don't really want to be taking profits, making that smart decision and then letting greed get to me and injecting it back in. So that is something I will judge at the time. But right now, I don't necessarily have anything I want to buy. So I'm pretty good here. December 17th, penciled in. Don't hold me to it, but December 17th, it's a good one. I've also heard that according to astrology, which I'm trying to get into, but I don't fully understand, that December 19 is a date to be very careful of. So yeah, around those things, they kind of line up. What else? Christmas, yeah. What about my retirement fund? So I haven't talked about my retirement fund on this channel, but I do not ever sell my retirement fund. I just dollar cost average into it. So no, this is I'm only talking about my trading portfolio on this. And most people will only have a trading portfolio. So what I have said applies to you. If you do also have a separate long-term retirement fund that is that involves crypto, then yeah, the goal is to never incur expenses on that. So if you sell that, then you create a taxable event. So yeah, no, you just sit through that one. Won't alts drop just as hard? So if Bitcoin gets close to its peak, you can do this yourself when you're charting, but Bitcoin will get close to its peak and pull back, and Ethereum tends to go for a little bit longer. By a little bit, I'm talking a couple of weeks, and the alts rally with it, and then everything just dies off. So yes, they will die off when Bitcoin dies, but they will rally harder after, usually. If you know, what has happened in the past continues to happen. Surely ETH will go to 10 times before BTC. Well, that's why I'm heavier in ETH. I am definitely heavier in ETH than Bitcoin. Excellent info. Thank you very much. What do you lock it into? I heard USDT and USDC aren't safe. I think USDC is fine, but there are other things, other stable coins you can explore. There's, you know, Australian backed ones, TAUD. You can do TAUD in Celsius, which is where I accumulate. I'll probably do a video on Celsius one day, but absolutely love Celsius. And you can do it there, and also crypto.com. So yeah, you can use that one. Very mature approach. Thank you. Must be the gray hair. Where's the best place to buy metaverse tokens? Wherever they're available. So you have to go to CoinGecko and whatever token you want to buy, click on the markets tab and it will tell you where that's available. Sometimes you do have to buy them from a million different places, not just one place. What else? Not crazy. I feel the same. Good. It's so exciting. Cleans like, yeah, I really, you know what? Like, I really, here's the thing that my mentor once said to me that most people don't really pay attention to, is that this is the saying, and keep this in your mind and make a friggin' meme of it if you need to, but wealth is accumulated in a bear market and realized in a bull market. So most people will try to get rich in a bull market, but the reality is, if you start slowly averaging in a bear market, being a trader and knowing that, starting to see the signs that the bull market is upon us, you will accumulate a lot more wealth, and all you need to do at that point in time is sit through it and wait, as opposed to trying to build it on the way up. Very important message there. Will you keep cash? I don't know what cash is, so I don't touch cash now, and I don't plan to touch it in a bear market, so I will live off stable coins. Yeah, so right, profit is much better than negative balance. 100%. Taking a great big short. I hope you time it super well and hold on to it through the whole thing. There better be just as much. There's going to be just as much fun in the bear market. What else is there? Where will BTC go after the 2-year bear market? Well, I'll probably do a better session on that, where I can actually show you charts and whatnot. But 260K makes sense. Sometimes 400K makes sense. It depends on how you're approaching the technical analysis. But honestly, even without Plan B's, projection, if you draw Elliott waves on Bitcoin on a daily right now, it still matches up that wave 5 of the Elliott wave is around 130 anyway. So it really does make sense that we should get there by December. Please let us know before you dump the BTC price. Well, we're doing it in stages, so it shouldn't move the market. I mean, I wish what I would sell would move the market. Do I live in a penthouse? I do. There you go. Wouldn't you do a trailing? Why wouldn't you do a trailing stop? Because I don't leverage trade. So yeah. I don't even know if you can do a trailing stop on spot, but yeah, I don't need to. I'm on the charts every day. I know if it's time to sell. The 20% APY that I mentioned for stablecoins at the moment, it's on OKX with USDC. Now that's fluctuating, so it may change, but at the moment it's paying 20%, and that's great. That is great. Okay, I think I've seen all of your comments. Okay, that's it. I've answered all your comments. So I hope that you found that helpful. I really think that, right now is the time. It's totally fine to be chasing small caps and trying to make that money. Is it too late now to get into the market? No, it's absolutely not too late. You can be smart about it. You can learn. As a trader, you can make money in the bear or the bull market. Just be careful about what you're buying into, and don't FOMO into things, and don't chase the dollars is probably my advice. But it's definitely not too late to get in. If you are in and you have done well so far, it will do you such a service to take the time to sit down and think about, what is going to work for you and how do you want to realize your gains at the end of this bull market. So I hope that by me sharing my strategy, it helps you. It's certainly not a recommendation for you to do the same thing, and you own your decisions. But that's kind of how I feel. So that's it, guys. That's all I have for you. Again, if you enjoyed this, please like the video. Please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified every time I go live. And don't forget to hit up the comments after this video to get yourself into that crypto case competition where you could be winning a portion of that portfolio. Enjoy, guys. Until next time, I'll see you then.